Nice. So let's talk about the IKC.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Well,
how's it going?
I'm looking forward to us hosting the IKC for the first time in the United States in quite some time. But we'll be hosting here in Cincinnati. I'm really looking forward to this event because actually this marks the 25th year anniversary of me studying with Master Yun in White Crane.
Oh, cool.
So over the years, I've taught the very basics and fundamentals of White Crane, and I decided that at this seminar, I would like to teach some of the actual breakdowns that he taught me of the katas. And they're pretty in depth, and I think it'll be really good for the KJKS and for people to see what White Crane actually really is. I've watched a lot of White Crane over the modern times, and from what I had learned 25 years ago, the methods of White Crane, you got flying crane, you got feeding crane, jumping crane, shouting crane, which that's where I started my studies on the stonework.
Right.
And you have monk fist, which resembles a lot of what you see in the San Chin methods. So I would like to go ahead and, as respect to him, and, I've always felt a honor to be basically a third generation coming from Go Kin Ki. Yun's father studied with him in China. Yun's studied under his father, and Yun passed it on to me, and that was 25 years ago. And, as a young buck in your 20s and your 30s, you just kind of think, oh, that's cool, I'm studying with Mr. Miyagi. But now that I'm in my 50s, it's kind of like, well, that was a really cool event. I should have higher regard to it, which I do.
Right.
And so I would like to share that at the IKC here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, I know we got a couple countries coming in so far from who said they were going to be teaching at it. You got Max from Austria. He's coming in. I think he's going to be doing some of the police tactics that he is doing out on the street. Jaap Jandeling, also from Netherlands, another police officer. I think he's doing Kempo. I'm not sure. I can't remember their list of schedule or their schedule yet. And who else is coming in? Okay, Manfred from Germany. Also Daniel Reese from Germany. There's a bunch of people coming in from other countries, so it'll be good.
Yeah, it looks like, we got good representation in the United States as well. We got a lot of locals from here in the Cincinnati area. Long Island's coming. We've been talking to Canada, and they're looking at coming as well. So
right.
We're going to have a really nice turnout, and I thought it would be nice to talk a little bit about the IKC and how excited we are to hold this event.
Well, we got 4 of the Sheehounds coming up from Massachusetts too, and it's good because they don't get around to a lot of the courses, and it'll be good to have 4 of them together in one setting.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them as well.
Yeah. They're going to be working on their own specific schedule. Again, I don't remember them off the top of my head, but they're great instructors, so it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I think this event's going to be really good. I'm excited to see everybody, and I think that we're going to have a really good teaching of all the different guys coming together. And I look forward to starting it in the United States and keeping it back and forth in the United States, and I think we'll do very well with it.
Yeah, and 2020 is the 20th anniversary of the IKC, and we're going to be changing the formats a lot in 2020. So I'd like to get all the guys together just to discuss, what we're going to be changing, some of the things, so everybody's up to speed and ready to go in 2020.
The way we have it set up here in Cincinnati, which I've been kind of excited about doing because with the IKCs and how we've had the formats and stuff going on, is we are going to have the instructors teach the whole seminar class. So each one of the people that will be teaching everybody in the room.
Right.
So this is going to be a pretty cool thing to see, as we've always had one class going and another class going, and people had to make choices on what instructor they wanted to see. This time around, we're going to make sure that every instructor will teach every person that's there,
Right.
and see everybody who's teaching, which I think will be very cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good too because you know you have the choice for people, but it's good also to have the focus. And Kyusho is all about focus, so it just makes sense that would do that. So yeah, changing up the format, getting ready for next year as well for the format change. I think we're going to go a little deeper into this, but this is a great start with a focal training.
Oh yeah, I think as time goes on, it's nice to always evolve. Kyusho International is always evolving, and we never stop. And that's what I love about it is, we keep moving forward, and the knowledge shows, and technique and skill shows, and everything that we do in the organization, we just keep evolving and making it better. And that's what I love and support about this organization.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the more you dig into the past, the more you find the new innovations. And this is not going to be a regular Kyusho seminar that most people are ready for or used to because we don't use the pressure points. We're using the anatomy and the physiology, getting into the real targets, the tools of the Bubishi, getting back to what the old masters used to teach, as opposed to just like throwing out the pressure points. And because again, we figured out that it's not the working mechanism of Kyusho. Healing is great, okay, but the hurting aspect is much better for the vascular tissue and the nerve tissue, organs, and that's what they wrote about. So that's the real Kyusho we're going to be focusing on. So it'd be good.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. As over the years, I'd say last 4 or 5 years, is looking into the Bubishi and the studies that we did with the Bubishi is, the simplicity of it is, I always said a long time ago, is we're not reinventing the wheel. We're finding out why it actually spun in the first place.
Right.
And that to me is the hardest part about our research is because you see things and you look at what's being written, but when you actually look at what it says, that's the true secret of the art, I think.
Right.
Yeah. When you had, and I will say that, I'm an acupressurist and I do that all my life.
Yeah.
And, when you said there's no pressure points, that made my head spin for a little bit in a good way.
Yeah.
But when, I'm always open-minded, so I always look at, okay, what's Evan saying here? And as I did my research and looked into it, it opened up a whole different fascination of the art to me. Is when you look into Bubishi and you look in all the methods and they talk about bone attacks, muscle attacks, cavity attacks, sealing the breast, sealing the vein, it's all there. And, you just have to find it within the cavity. So when you're looking at 36 cavities, no, they're not pressure points per se. It's all there. And that to me was a defining moment of martial arts for me. So I thank you for that.
No problem. Just telling you what the old guys used to say. And I'm getting to be one of those old guys, so that'll work.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
But, with the Tagumi and the moving of the techniques that we do, that changed the art quite a bit from the standard, set position of martial arts. And that opened up a whole new door as well. And we've been applying it here in Cincinnati, and that's been my studies and research as well. And again, I thank you for that as well. And so I'm very excited with where we're going and how it's coming out to be because with the Bubishi and the research you've done and we've done, and it has definitely brought things to light that, I've been in martial arts 40 years and I'm still going, whew, wow.
Yeah, it's a head full. Hey, what white crane form are you going to be teaching at the course?
We are actually going to break down the Kumimura Hakatsuru. That is the mother lode of all white cranes. Every one of the katas that you actually see broken down in smaller versions are this kata. So that's one of the things I think that will be really good is showing the actual form itself. I think that form has been dissected for many years into different smaller katas. And kind of same thing as the old Okinawans did was, the Pinan katas were 5 smaller breakdowns of one big kata. And Hakatsuru is the same way.
Yeah, yeah. Was that one of the forms that Master Yun taught you?
Yes.
Okay.
It was basically, it's called Hakatsuru Kin today, but the terminology from it was said that the Hakatsuru Kin came from Kumimura, which was the village of Okinawa, which was in Naha, which was the Chinatown of Okinawa. So It's actually, kata is called Hakatsuru Kin.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. And for the people that don't do kata and don't do karate per se, maybe they do Krav Maga or Aikido or Jiu-Jitsu or whatever style they do. The tegumis are awesome because it doesn't matter if you do the kata. You're going to just be going through a 2-minute fighting action, developing your skills with your tools and your targeting in an active, passive-aggressive way. So I think it's going to be an excellent time for anybody in any art.
Oh, yeah. I was excited to see, and it was really neat to see how we pulled it off in Switzerland.
Right.
As this past seminar, as we took a kata, we didn't teach the kata at all. We taught the takumi of the kata. And anybody who does any kind of martial arts can pick up on that for self-protection arts or anything else. Is they don't specifically need to know the kata. If they want to learn the kata, great, we'll show them the kata. But, there's so much in-depth technique and self-protection techniques that, they can learn from this type of format.
Yeah, sure. I've been going off on a tangent myself on, still digging into the Bubishi, still digging into the physiological structures of the body, but getting into more the Goju-Ryu lately. I was with Weichi-Ryu and working on that since '97, and I started looking at the Goju because of the hand posture, and it ties to the White Crane as well. But looking at the Tensho Kata and the Seiyuchin in particular, and it's funny because nobody really knows where the Seiyuchin comes from. One of those mystical, magical katas that really nobody has a clue where it came from. They don't even know what the name means. Okay, they've got their suppositions. They've got grab and tear or tear and whatever it is. But nobody really knows for sure where and what it was. But it does map out the blood systems of the body pretty cool and accurately, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, I think it'll be fascinating. When you sit back and look at history, Shogun Miyagi and Go-Jiro, and you look at Go-Kin-Ki of White Crane, they were buddies and studied with each other for many years and traveled around and studied together. And, I think all those go together, and I think they're a big part of the Bubishi as well.
Yeah. What's exciting too is the U.S. is coming back online with the Kyusho more and more. We've been playing over in Europe for a long period of time, and now the U.S. is picking up. We've got hubs in Massachusetts, Ohio, California now, New York, and of course right over the border in Ontario, Canada. So it's all picking up, and we've got other affiliates that are coming on board. Hopefully they can get out to this course to really get a good in-depth teaching so we can strengthen the U.S. Kyusho again.
Oh, yeah. I think it's time. Kyusho, per se, the way it was taught over the last few decades, was a certain way, and we're focused on the Bubishi, and we're teaching the methods of the Bubishi, and I think it gives a different aspect and a different look at what it really truly was, and I think the U.S. is a good place to rebuild it back again, and as well as we've been doing it in Europe. So I welcome the Kyusho to be back in the United States as well.
Yeah. Well, the travel's a lot less too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts on the course?
I think this course is going to be a good start for the United States. I think it's going to be good to unify United States with Canada, and get back to where our roots had started in the first place. And we have all came full circle. We've been doing Kyusho for almost 20 years, teaching under Kyusho International, and we started in the United States and made it to Europe, and we've been doing Europe, and now we're coming back to the United States again. So I think in a 20-year journey, we finally made it back to full circle, and I think this time around the wheel in the United States will be evolved, and but in the right reasons. It's being taught the way it was taught in the very beginning.
Right, right. And that's important because it got a little bit astray there for a while. And, that was a good decade or two that it did get off on the tangents, and everybody went their own way and tried to figure out different things that really weren't correlated to it. So getting back to what the original core was is, I think, a vital concept.
Yeah, I agree. Being in the martial arts now for 40 years and being a acupressurist now for going on 20 years, Chinese medicine and martial arts is really two different entities. And you can try to apply one to the other, but it becomes limited. But when you look at the aspects of what they're talking about that they talked about for centuries, and it's in the Bobishi, that's the actual true method, I believe. And I'm stating that as a Chinese medicine acupressurist who does martial arts, that what's talked about in the Bobishi and what we see today with our studies from it and brain studies and all the things that we have done, cadaver studies. I think the Bobishi will be the set pattern that it should have been in the beginning, and it will go for time to come.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Gary. Well, good talking to you, man. And the seminar is coming up the first weekend, November of this year. And we'll put the link below for the seminar, but it's on the Kyusho.com website and on the Facebook pages as well. So look it up there. You can go and take a look at the airport you have to land in, the hotels you need to book, where it's going to be, where the venue is, and the schedule as well. So, and of course, registration. And get the registrations in early, folks. It's not easy to try to cram everybody in right at the door. You got 50 people trying to get in at the door. It's kind of crazy. So we got lots to do, and we want to get right to the teaching. So register early.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it. Everybody's invited, and we hope to see you in Cincinnati in November.
All right. Take care of yourself, Gary.
You do the same, sir.
Bye-bye.